The station's night cycle dimmed the lights, but it never brought darkness. Neon still bled across alloy streets, and the air vibrated with the low hum of power conduits buried beneath the floor. Cargo traffic had slowed to a crawl, leaving the transit lane unnaturally empty, an emptiness that made Caleb Rowan stop walking. She stood exactly in the center of the lane, barefoot, too small to belong there. A little alien girl, no more than 6 by human standards, purple skin washed pale by flickering holograms. She clutched a frayed, stuffed creature to her chest, as if letting go might cause the universe itself to break apart. Tears ran down her face in silence, her lips trembling, but her feet didn't move. Caleb shifted the weight on his shoulders. His son slept there, warm and heavy, unaware of the moment stretching thin in front of them. Every instinct Caleb had learned on hard stations and harder docks screamed the same warning. Children did not stand alone at night, unless something had gone terribly wrong. He scanned the street. No parents, no security drones, no curious onlookers. Just her, waiting. He approached slowly, boots echoing too loud in the stillness. When he crouched, the girl's eyes finally focused on him, wide, amber, and exhausted from crying. "Hey," Caleb said quietly, keeping his hands where she could see them. "Are you lost?" She shook her head. "Are you hurt?" Another shake. Her grip tightened on the toy. A long moment passed before she spoke. Voice small enough to almost vanish into the station's hum. "My mom told me to wait." The words landed wrong. Not sad, not confused, precise. And in that instant, Caleb realized something that made his blood go cold. Waiting wasn't hope. Waiting was instruction. Caleb's chest tightened. That wasn't a child standing alone by accident. That was deliberate. Someone had left her, or worse, planned to. "Waiting?" he asked softly, keeping his voice low, careful not to startle her. "How long?" The girl's small shoulders shuddered. "A long time," she whispered, clutching the toy tighter. Amber eyes flicked toward the shadows between the buildings. Something in her gaze made Caleb's stomach knot. He scanned the street again, faster this time. 3 figures emerged from the darkened alley, a trio of krill, 7 feet tall, gray skin absorbing the neon glow, mandibles clicking. Weapons glinted under their long coats. The movement was fluid, practiced, predatory. Caleb's instincts screamed. These weren't just passers-by. They were here for her. "She's not merchandise," Caleb said, voice steady, but teeth clenched. The lead krill's mandibles clicked together. "She is exactly that. Valuable, rare, and worth every credit our employer paid." Caleb's hands moved to the knife at his belt, calculating, weighing options. Behind him, his son slept peacefully, and in his arms, the girl, Zira, he would learn, trembled, trusting him implicitly even though he was a stranger. "Walk away," Caleb said quietly. "You won't take her." The krill advanced, their movements synchronized, cutting off escape routes. Caleb's heart pounded, 1 against 3, carrying 2 children, in the middle of a neon-lit street. And yet, he felt a strange certainty. Humans had survived far worse. The first krill lunged, and Caleb acted, not running, not surrendering, but fighting for something bigger than survival. Caleb's body reacted before his mind could fully process. He ducked low, sweeping his knife in a defensive arc. The lead krill's claws scraped against the blade, sparks flying from the metal floor. Zer's small fingers dug into his jacket, but she didn't scream. She trusted him completely. The other two, krill, fanned out, moving with terrifying coordination. Every instinct in Caleb screamed that they would overwhelm him in seconds. Yet, he refused to let fear dictate action. He pivoted, using the environment, cargo containers, service ladders, and narrow passageways to create distance, keeping the girl shielded. "Stay down, Lily," he shouted over his shoulder. His daughter's small voice whispered compliance from the carrier on his back. The krill lunged again, faster this time. Caleb grabbed a rusted service ladder, yanking it into the path of the attackers. One of them tumbled, claws scraping metal as sparks flew. The lead krill hissed, a sound like a broken engine, and advanced with lethal intent. Caleb's mind raced. There was no way to fight them head-on. Only one option remained: escape through the labyrinth of alleys and abandoned maintenance corridors. With a desperate surge, he bolted, weaving through obstacles, Zira clinging to him like her life depended on it. Because it did. A massive cargo crane hung overhead, part of a long unused transport system. He could see the mechanics still operational. If he could reach it, the krill wouldn't anticipate using the environment against them. "Hold tight," Caleb whispered, determination steel in his voice. "We're not giving up. Not tonight." Caleb's hands found the crane's manual override. Just as the lead krill reached the ladder's base, sparks flickered as he slammed his palm onto the worn buttons. The massive arm creaked, groaned, then swung in a wide arc toward the attackers. The krill barely reacted in time. Two of them were knocked off balance, limbs flailing as the crane's claw caught the ladder. The lead krill skidded, its mandibles snapping in irritation rather than attack. Caleb seized the moment, hauling Zira and Lily up the ladder toward the platform above. Above, a narrow maintenance corridor offered fleeting safety. Caleb pressed them against the wall, chest heaving, listening. The metallic echo of the krill's boots faded into the distance. For a heartbeat, the world was quiet. Then Zira's tiny voice broke through, trembling. Are we safe now?" Caleb looked down at her purple, tear-streaked face, amber eyes wide with fear. "For now," he said, voice low but steady. "But we have to keep moving. They won't stop chasing us." He scanned the platform ahead. Rusted service doors led to an interior courtyard, abandoned, yet offering cover and escape routes. Every step would be a calculated risk. Every shadow could hide a predator. Yet, he had a plan. "Listen carefully," he whispered, crouching to their level. "We move fast, we stay quiet, and we use what's around us. You both trust me, right?" "Always," Lily replied with quiet courage. Zira nodded, clutching her teddy bear tightly. Caleb drew a steadying breath. This wasn't just survival. It was the first step toward protecting two lives that now depended entirely on him. The courtyard stretched before them, littered with abandoned crates, toppled machinery, and tangled cables. Caleb led the girls in a low crouch, each step measured to avoid the metallic clatter that could betray their position. The neon glow from the surrounding buildings cast long, flickering shadows, perfect for hiding, but also disorienting for the untrained eye. Zira's small hand gripped his sleeve tightly. "Do they really want me?" she whispered, voice cracking. Caleb's jaw tightened. The answer was yes, but he couldn't let her see his fear. Not if I can help it, he said firmly. And I will. You're coming with me, no matter what. A sudden clatter behind them made him freeze. Three krill emerged from the shadows, their insectoid eyes reflecting the neon lights. Smooth, precise movements, every step a threat. One of them raised a blaster, its hum slicing through the air. Caleb's mind raced. The crates offered cover, but the krill's coordination was flawless. He pulled Zir and Lily behind an overturned container and whispered instructions. Stay low, don't peek. Follow my lead exactly. Timing, precision, and instinct became his weapons. When the krill advanced, Caleb used the environment to his advantage, triggering a cascade of crates to tumble and block one path. Sparks flew from exposed circuits, momentarily blinding the attackers. Zir's wide eyes followed every movement. She didn't fully understand the danger, but she felt it. Caleb realized something crucial. She needed to believe in their plan, to trust him completely. In this chaotic, neon-lit alley, trust was survival. The temporary barricade bought them only seconds. Caleb grabbed Zir's small hand and pulled her along, weaving between the scattered debris, with Lily clinging to his back. The krill adapted quickly, moving around the obstacles with unnatural precision. Every footstep, every twitch of antennae reminded him they were being hunted by predators who didn't feel fear. Up there, he hissed, pointing to a maintenance ladder leading to a catwalk above the courtyard. Zir hesitated, glancing back at the krill closing in. I can't climb, she stammered, fear heavy in her voice. Caleb knelt, offering his shoulder as a step. You can. I'll be right here. Just trust me. One by one, he hoisted the girls onto the ladder. Each movement was deliberate. Every slip could be fatal. Lily, small but brave, followed instructions perfectly. Zir's amber eyes were wide with terror, but she gripped his hands, the fragile thread of trust holding them together. As they reached the catwalk, the krill fired, energy bolts sizzling against the metal grating. Sparks erupted near Caleb's feet, but he kept moving, pushing forward to cover. From this vantage point, the alley below looked like a hunting ground, the predators circling, waiting for a mistake. Caleb realized they needed more than speed. They needed strategy. He scanned the platform and saw a dormant service drone suspended on a nearby rail. With a swift calculation, he grabbed it, reactivating its motors. The drone whirred to life, illuminating the krill and forcing them into awkward positions. Zir's grip tightened on his sleeve. Is this going to work? She whispered. Caleb allowed himself a grim smile. It has to. The drone's sudden illumination startled the krill, giving Caleb the opening he desperately needed. He guided the girls along the catwalk, each step echoing above the courtyard. Sparks from the drone flickered across their path, casting monstrous shadows on the walls, making the predators hesitate just long enough. Zir's small hand trembled in his grip. I don't want them to catch me, she whispered. Caleb squeezed her fingers. No one's catching you. Not today. Not ever. He wasn't entirely sure he believed it himself, but he had to project certainty. Fear would paralyze them both. They reached a service ladder that led to a narrow maintenance shaft. It was risky. The shaft was unstable and covered in layers of dust and grease, but it was their only escape. Caleb positioned himself at the bottom, motioning for the girls to climb. Lily went first, nimble and confident, while Zir hesitated. You can do this, Caleb urged. Step by step. I've got you. She took a deep breath and started climbing, the ladder shaking beneath her weight. One misstep could spell disaster. Halfway up, a krill managed to scale the wall, antennae skimming the shaft's edge. Caleb kicked upward, striking the creature just enough to throw it off balance. It hissed, claws scraping metal, but fell short of reaching the girls. Finally, they emerged into a cramped service corridor above the street. Caleb collapsed against the wall, breathing heavily as Sir pressed close. For a fleeting moment, the three of them were safe. But Caleb knew this was only the beginning. Epsilon Station's shadows hid more dangers than he could count. The narrow corridor reeked of burnt circuitry and oil, a stark reminder that safety on Epsilon was always temporary. Caleb guided Lily and Zer quietly, every sense alert for movement or sound. The station's hum felt alive tonight, almost predatory, as if it knew they were fugitives. Zer's amber eyes flicked nervously to every shadow. "They'll find us again," she whispered, clutching her teddy bear. Caleb nodded solemnly. "Maybe, but we'll be ready. We won't let them take you." His promise sounded hollow even to him, but he had no choice but to believe it. They slipped through a maintenance hatch into a deserted transport conduit. The walls were covered in faded markings, warnings, maintenance codes, and symbols Caleb had long ago learned to interpret. One particular symbol caught his eye. 3 intersecting lines forming a triangle. It was a sign of the underground network Torres had mentioned, a potential sanctuary. "This way," he murmured, leading them deeper into the labyrinth. The air became cooler, the metallic scent giving way to something more neutral, almost sterile. Finally, they arrived at a concealed door marked by the triangle. Caleb rapped the code, 3, 2, 1, and a panel slid aside. Inside, soft lighting revealed a small furnished chamber, far cleaner and safer than any place they'd seen in the lower districts. Dexter's voice greeted them before she appeared. "I've been expecting you," she said, her scaled hands resting on the console. Caleb relaxed slightly. For the first time since the street, he felt a glimmer of hope. Here, at least, they could regroup. But the world outside remained dangerous, and the krill wouldn't forget. Dexter's scaled eyes studied Caleb carefully. "You've made it this far, but the krill are persistent. They'll be back, and stronger. You need more than hiding. You need leverage." Caleb's mind raced. He'd hoped staying with her network would buy them time. But now he realized they needed a plan, not just refuge. Sir clung to Lily, her small purple fingers entwined with her human friends. "We can't go back, can we?" she asked, her voice trembling. Caleb shook his head slowly. "Not yet. Not until we can guarantee you're safe." Dexter gestured to a hollow map projecting the lower districts. "These corridors, these sectors, they belong to the shadows. I can provide protection, training, resources, but you have to take risks. Deliveries, information runs, minor sabotage. Things that make the krill hesitate." Caleb swallowed hard. He hadn't imagined becoming a courier, a spy, or any sort of operative. He was just trying to protect 2 children. Yet, looking at Zer's trusting eyes, he knew he couldn't walk away. "Tomorrow, your first assignment," Dexter continued. "A small package, low risk. Success means more security, more resources. Failure, well, I don't intend to fail you, Caleb, but the krill won't be forgiving." Sir tilted her head, as if understanding more than a 6-year-old should. We'll help, she said quietly. Lily nodded beside her. Caleb's heart clenched. They were too young, but somehow their courage steadied him. For the first time in days, Caleb felt a sense of purpose. They weren't just surviving anymore. They were fighting back together. The shadows outside were still alive, but inside, they had a plan. The next night, Caleb moved through the dim corridors of Sector 9, the package secured tightly against his chest. Every shadow seemed alive, every distant clatter a threat. Lily and Zer had stayed behind with Dexter's temporary guardians, their small hands waving as he left, faces filled with trust and determination. The route was convoluted, twisting through maintenance shafts, service tunnels, and abandoned cargo bays. Every step demanded focus. Every turn held potential danger. The krill might strike at any moment. Yet, as Caleb pressed forward, a strange calm settled over him. This wasn't just about delivering a package. It was about proving to the universe, to the children depending on him, that humans were not to be underestimated. At the drop point, a lone Valerian awaited, scanning the area with unblinking eyes. Caleb handed over the package, the exchange silent but tense. As the figure disappeared into the shadows, Caleb allowed himself a deep breath. The first assignment had succeeded. Returning to the compartment, he found Lily and Zer asleep, their small chests rising and falling in rhythm. Caleb gently tucked them in, brushing a strand of hair from Zer's forehead. For a moment, the chaos of Epsilon Station felt distant. Dexter's words echoed in his mind. The network would protect them, but it was their courage, their choices, that would truly shape their future. Caleb sat back, watching his two daughters, one human, one alien, both bright and resilient. He realized then that survival wasn't enough. They would thrive. And in this galaxy of shadows, humans, fearless, determined, and unyielding, were a force the universe would never forget.